So some huge fights got announced recently for UFC Raleigh along with some other events in the first quarter of next year. Let's talk about some of them. First of all, the first fight I woke up to seeing being announced was Curtis Blaydes versus Jumior dos Santos. I love this fight. This makes a lot of sense to me. Both guys doing well. I feel like Blaydes might have an advantage here, but I really don't know how this fight could go. And this is a great headliner for a fight night as well. I just thought I'd break down some of these huge announcements we've had. Curtis Blaydes obviously coming off a win over Shamil Abdurakhimov, I believe, and JDS coming off the loss to Ngannou. But I feel like both guys are in a good position. Winner of this one is still in the top of the division. I don't know how that division's going to go because right now it's in a little bit of a limbo state, so I guess Curtis Blaydes and JDS are just trying to stay active because they feel like maybe they can out-active Francis Ngannou and get a title shot based off that. However, both guys have lost to him, so they don't really have a good claim. So maybe this one's just relevancy in the top 5. Who's more relevant in the top 5 of the division? I like this fight. I have no idea how I'm going to predict it. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of which, Carlos Condit is out of UFC Washington versus Mickey Gall. I know a guy on short notice that would be happy to take this fight, and his comment is the most liked thing on this fight announcement Instagram page, and his name is Gilbert Burns. He says, already asked for this fight, let's see. Wow, Gilbert Burns saves the day again. Moving on to the next fight announcement. I love Gilbert Burns. Maycee Barber versus Roxanne Modafferi. The cringe versus cringe. I feel like this is a great fight, a dangerous one for Maycee Barber because, to be honest with you, Modafferi is somewhat decent at holding people against the cage, which in women's MMA can be enough to win you championship fights. So, yeah, I like Modafferi's chances. I do think Maycee Barber's going to win. I really do. I'm praying that she wins because we need some interest in that UFC flyweight division. So, yeah, I'm hoping Maycee Barber wins this one. Moving on to the next fight announcement. It gets better and better. OSP versus Ryan Spann. Great stuff in the February 8th event, whenever that's going to be. I know that Masad Bektik versus Dan Ige is also on that card. Looking like a good card. This is a main card fight. Ryan Spann, I feel like with a win on the headliner of the prelims of his last card, I believe it was UFC Canada, Vancouver. He fought Devin Clark on the headliner of the prelims. If I'm correct on that, let me know. I think he's earned a place on the main card. OSP broke his loss streak on the main card of UFC Copenhagen, so I like it. This is a great fight. The winner of this one can get a shot in the rankings. We'll see what happens. Good stuff, though. Real good stuff. I heard Manoa wants to come back, so maybe he gets the winner of this one. I pray that he doesn't come back, because we don't need to see that chin shattered again. That is actually, maybe we do. Maybe we do need to see it one more time. It would be hilarious. So, yeah. OSP versus Ryan Spann, a great fight, and that's a great fight on the card. We've had a lot of announcements. I hope this keeps going, because I love fight announcements. Moving on, Andrea Lee versus Lauren Murphy on the same card, February 8th. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not really too hyped over Lauren Murphy, but Andrea Lee's pretty good. Okay. It's cool. Good fight. Moving on, we've got Frankie Edgar versus Cory Sandhagen. Huge announcement. I thought they were going to go Edgar versus Aljamain Sterling. They were going to, as I predicted, but Aljamain Sterling got injured. Maybe they would go with Edgar versus Yan, but then Yan got announced to fight Faber. Then I was thinking, they wouldn't do Edgar versus Moraes, but maybe because but they might not because they're from the same camp, or used to be from the same camp. They've trained with each other. I'm pretty sure they're still at the same camp with Mark Henry. But then they announced this one, and they announced Moraes versus Aldo, so I was like, well, who's left? Cory Sandhagen. It makes sense. He's the top 5 guy that hasn't got a fight right now and isn't injured. So yeah, sign me up. I think if Edgar wins this one and Faber wins his one, I don't think the winner's going to get a title shot, I'll be honest with you, because if Aldo beats Moraes, he's right to the top of the pack, and he's beat both Edgar and Faber, so argue that one for me, how Edgar or Faber would get a title shot over the top of him. So I think if both Edgar and Faber win, and also Aljamain Sterling's beat everyone other than Marlon Moraes, and he's the number 2 contender, so I think maybe he should probably get the next title shot. But if Faber and Edgar both win these fights, which I highly doubt, I'll be honest with you, highly doubt, I think they should fight each other for a title elimination bout, and that's a huge fight in itself. But this is great. Co-main event of the UFC Raleigh card. Listen, you need one more big fight on that card and it's done. You've got JDS versus Blaydes in the main event. Great main event. Co-main event, Edgar versus Sandhagen. You need one more Nico Price versus Gilbert Burns, and you're done. The rest of the card can be shit. I don't mind. That's all I need on a card. That's great stuff. Edgar versus Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen takes this one after seeing how he neutralized the wrestling of a Sun Sal, and also I just don't like the idea in general of guys moving down in weight, especially with age. You know, like Melendez tried it at 45. He just looked like a shell of himself. I feel like if you're getting older in your UFC career, I love guys moving up, but moving down just seems like you're harming yourself even more, which I don't understand. You know? So I'm definitely going to go with Cory Sandhagen here. He can crack as well. Don't let it be twisted. And obviously, Edgar's chin, it's already kind of suspect at 45. After that drain to 35, I think it's dangerous for him. Moving on to the next fight that got announced, because there's loads. Darko Stojic versus Jamal Hill. Listen, I was all on the Darko Stojic hype train. I think I was 10-0 or some shit on my Prospect Spotlight show, and he was the first guy I got wrong. I've been very disappointed, okay? I've been very disappointed. I am glad they're giving him one more chance, but he lost to Nuzachukwu. He lost to Devin Clark as well. Yes, they were both close fights, and the Nuzachukwu one was because he kept low kicking Nuzachukwu to the dick, which isn't allowed, of course. I'm glad they gave him one more chance. And Jamal Hill coming off the Contender Series. Cool. I don't know what I want to happen here. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Hopefully Stojic wins, because he's still got some hype around him, but who knows? Maybe it was just a guy who was under a lot of hype for fighting tin cans in Russia. Maybe that's what happens here. But that's a good fight as well, though. I really like that one. Very nice. That's a UFC Raleigh card. I like it. Moving on, Montel Jackson versus Felipe Corrales. Also on the UFC Raleigh card, Montel Jackson coming off a win over Andre Sukumtat. Not too big, Felipe Corrales. This is a decent fight. The winner of this one is really going to be the one of another contenders at bantamweight. So I'm looking forward to it. Montel Jackson's good. If he wins this, I believe he'll be 4-1 in the UFC, or maybe 3-1. Something like that. Felipe Corrales is dangerous as well. I will go with Montel Jackson here. I think he's a very good fighter. I just feel like maybe the winner of this one could get the Sean O'Malley fight. And I think if it's Montel Jackson, that's very marketable. He looks the part. He's a cool looking guy. Montel Jackson, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I'm sure they would talk shit back and forth. Montel Jackson's got a good on the, he's quite good on the mic himself, so I think that'd be a great fight. And also, what the fuck is going on with Sean O'Malley? What happened? Is he dead? I don't know what happened to him. I've seen him like posting stuff on YouTube. It's like, I always feel bad for watching him. He's literally being held hostage by Jeff Nowitzki, and we're all watching it happen. And we're okay with it, I guess. He popped for the same thing that John Jones popped for. And John Jones can fight, and Sean O'Malley's been held out for coming up for a year now. So, craziness. Absolute craziness. I don't know why that's happening to him. But the winner of this fight here, Jackson versus Corrales, can take on Sean O'Malley for sure. Makes sense to me. Bevan Lewis versus Alan Amedovski. I don't mind Bevan Lewis here, to be honest with you. I like Bevan Lewis. He was doing very well against Uriah Hall before Hall landed the KO punch in the third round out of nowhere. I liked his performance against Uriah Hall, if I'm honest with you. However, I do think he'll beat Amedovski. Amedovski coming off a KO loss very recently in UFC Denmark. Okay, he got KO'd by John Phillips. It was a bad KO. I believe I'm thinking of the right guy. Either way, I don't like that he's returning to the octagon this soon. He looks like Marlon Moraes' dad as well, by the way. I'll just add that in there. I don't like that he's returning this soon to the octagon. I think it's stupid. He's just been KO'd. He's facing a big striker in Bevan Lewis, who's very talented. I think this is a tough fight for Amedovski, and I think Bevan Lewis is going to take this one home. I really do. I also still am a little bit skeptical over the Amedovski loss to John Phillips. They were running late for the main card, and John Phillips versus Amedovski was headlining the prelims, and they had 1 minute left before the main card was supposed to start. And Amedovski and Phillips run out there and fucking sling bombs at each other with no warm-up whatsoever, with no feeling out process whatsoever, and Amedovski goes down in the first like 30 seconds. So, I'm still a bit skeptical. I feel like I'm going with Bevan Lewis, though. I think he's going to win this fight. And then moving on, another fight got announced. Justine Kish versus... You know, we don't even give a fuck about that one. Never mind, guys. That's all the fights that got announced. We're not even going to talk about that the disrespect for them to even post a fight like that. You know what I'm saying? The disrespect for them to even attempt to post. Justine Kish versus Lucy Pudilova. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. All we care about is maybe Darko Stojic, maybe Andrea Lee, but not really. OSP Ryan Span's good. Blaydes versus JDS is wonderful. Macy Barber getting an opponent just proves that Paige Van Zant's a little bitch pussy who's all in her emotions. Frankie Edgar versus Cory Sandhagen is amazing. Bevon Lewis is back. Montel Jackson's back. Life is good. We need more signings right now. We've got cards to fill. Let's kick off the new year with a bang. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye. Goodbye.